Hello, my friends. I'm so excited to be here with Roberta Wilhelm. She is the executive director for Girls Inc. Roberta, so good to see you.
Thank you. It is nice to see you.
You know what? I was actually just kind of going over your website and looking at some different information. And let's just talk about the history of Girls Inc.
Yeah, Girls Inc. has been in this community since 1975. It's been in the country since the 1800s, but
Right.
in Omaha since 1975. It was started by some really passionate women, a junior league project, actually, and started in a church basement, 5 girls, and grew from there very, very quickly to where we are today with centers in North and South Omaha, as well as 2 transitional housing facilities as well.
Yeah. And like you said, this is a national organization that has an Omaha organization from it. So in the 1800s,
That's right.
I forgot about that. I forgot that this is a national organization. So
yeah, we're a local affiliate there across the country on the East Coast, the West Coast, not as many in the middle of the country, but one joined us maybe 6 years ago or so in Chicago, which is nice.
yeah.
I'd still love for there to be one in Kansas City. So if anyone hears from that neck of the woods, we'd love to have a partner there.
Absolutely. Well, then let's talk. Who does Girls Inc. serve? I mean, what do you do? What are your programs? So we'll start there.
We're open to all girls, ages 5 through 18 or through high school. And our transitional housing also helps young women who are older than that, who are transitioning to independent living. The younger girls, we're open to all girls, but we pick up primarily from schools east of 72nd Street. So those tend to be lower income neighborhoods where girls might not have the same access to the services and opportunities that other girls do. But any girl can participate. In the summer, we probably have a more mixed demographic because parents bring girls to us. But during the school year, we're more strategic about the schools where we pick up. So we serve primarily a population of Black and brown girls, but not solely. I mean, obviously, again, we're open to all girls.
Sure. And I have to ask you this question. How long have you been at Girls Inc.? I mean, you've been there for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm an old lady. I've been at Girls Inc. for, it'll be 18 years next month.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And I was with the Rose Theater for 20 years before that. So yeah, I've been in the community, in the nonprofit youth sector for a long time.
And let's just talk a little bit, because you've got this big event coming up that we were definitely going to talk about, Lunch for the Girls. But let's just talk a little bit. How have things changed over like the last 18 years? I mean, I assume they've had to, but I'm just interested in kind of from your perspective, what's different?
Yes.
Maybe what's the same?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what's the same over the years, even from the 1800s, is that the girls' needs are foremost. So the agency nationally and locally changes with the changing needs of girls. Yeah. So the Girls Inc. in the 50s was all about how to be a good wife and mother and how to prepare meals for your husband when he came home from work. And of course, that changed over the decades into teaching girls that most women work most of their lives and that girls should be prepared to support themselves and a family if necessary, and consider what their options are for a self-sufficient future. Yeah. So that's a big change from, and then again, in the 1800s, it was sort of like, how can you learn your parents are now in the mills and in the factories, and we need someone to teach girls how to make lace and, do these sort of things. Those really aren't on the agenda anymore at Girls Inc. It's much more about career options, STEM, equity, equity for gender, equity for race. So that has changed over time. And we're helping girls, again, access opportunities, social capital, connections, people, networks that they might not have access to without Girls Inc. helping break down some of those barriers.
Yeah. Do you have a mentoring program?
We do. I myself have been a mentor since 2006 to 4 young women, 2 of whom are grown now. But yes, women in the community can be matched one-on-one with the girls. And it's a great way to spend time with one girl it's win-win. I mean, you get so much from your mentee and you learn so much, and hopefully they learn from you as well. And it's just enjoyable time that I spend with my mentee.
Right. And is there kind of a cycle? Like, does it start at a certain time of year, or it's okay?
No,
This is just like,
there's always a waiting list. I saw
right,
that a pair was matched yesterday, and they're just kind of always evolving. Some matches dissolve. Sometimes a life change. Someone has an illness or moves, and
sure.
it's unavoidable. Or maybe they're in grad school and they mentor while they're in school and then they move, which
Yeah.
again is okay. Other matches last. I had one mentee from the time she was in third grade until she graduated high school. So you can have a relationship for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, and that's just so important. So let's talk about Lunch for the Girls, which is coming up here in November, November
11th.
11th. And you've got a really exciting speaker. Was reading about her. I mean, I know her, but so let's talk about the speaker first, because that's exciting.
Yes. So our speaker this year is Dr. Mae Jemison, and she was the first Black woman in outer space, a female astronaut, Black female astronaut. She's someone that children study in Black History Month. There weren't a lot of Black female role models that were held up in educational halls, and she was one. And so our girls know her name, our alums know her name. They're excited for her to come. There's a lot more to her than, I don't want to say just being an astronaut, because that's an awful lot, but she's also an author and a dancer and a choreographer, and she's a very accomplished person. And we like the girls to operate from a center of strength, and to see her, she's just a great role model for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So is this a live event? Are you doing also a virtual component to it?
It will be live streamed.
Okay.
It's not produced as a virtual event as last year's was, but for folks who want to watch but are not comfortable or unable to attend a live event, it will be live streamed.
Sure. Are there tickets still available to the live piece of it?
Yes, and those are available through our website, or give us a call. They are available. I have to say, too, that usually the girls have as big of a role in the event as does our guest speaker. The girls' voices are the most important voices, even more important than our speakers, who have been presidents and first ladies and, very renowned folks. But the girls, their voices are important.
Yeah, because I mean, that's actually, you got a step ahead of me too, because I know from going to this event in the past that the girls play a big role, and you hear from them and they're there, and it's just such an inspiring event for those who come. And now, with COVID-19, the pandemic, needing to shift things a little bit. And last year it was a virtual event, but you're kind of can continue that on for people who can't get there for one reason or another. So,
well, and I think hopefully there are some things we've learned from the pandemic that will continue, and that's one of them. That accessibility, virtual accessibility, is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So, are there other things happening during the luncheon, or kind of walk me through the agenda real quickly?
Yeah, so the girls will share first from their programs and their experiences and opportunities. And they tell us what they'd like to share every year, and they put the words together. So that's a really a little nerve-wracking because you don't always know what's going to come out of their mouths. But and sometimes it's not even scripted. Little girls may not even be able to read and may want to share about what they've learned. And they have gone rogue on us, but that's what it is. That's who they are. So that's okay. And then other girls will write a script, or one of the young women will introduce Dr. Jemison, and which is traditional that one of the girls will introduce the speaker. The girls will interview the speaker. So they come up with questions, things they'd like to know. So again, very much front and center. I think they're strong, smart, and bold. They're brave because they do get up in front of a crowd. A lot of people would be terrified to do that. And you have 8-year-olds who go right up to the mic and speak in front of a crowd of hundreds and sometimes thousands of people very confidently. And you can see how confident and strong and bold they are.
Yeah. And I mean, what an amazing opportunity for them to be able to have a place to do that, because that does not happen. That's kind of a far and few between experience that a lot of girls are able to be a part of. So, thank you for that.
Yeah, it is special. It is a special time for them to both shine their own lights, as well as to network with folks who've been there and done that ahead of them, and sort of forged a path.
Yeah, and I think the questions that our youth ask, I'm always interested to see what's on their mind. The questions that they come up with, because they're a lot of times very different than as an adult. You might even overthink things, but they're just there to learn, and they want to know, and they're curious. So that's an exciting part of the event for sure. So,
well, and sometimes the girls don't necessarily, we may know the speaker, but they don't.
Yeah.
So in fact, when we had the Archbishop Desmond Tutu come speak, the girls said, well, last year we had President Clinton, and this year we have a nobody.
Yeah.
And I was like, girls, no, he's not a nobody. And so they do research, and they do read, and they do fill the teen center with books and poetry or whatever that helps them learn about the speaker, which I love to see that process as well. And through that process, they come up with questions that they want to ask.
Well, we've got just a couple minutes left. I'd like to ask you, how can people support and contribute to Girls Inc., outside of this event, and also the mentoring piece? We talked about that. Are there other needs that the organization has?
So many. We have opportunities for businesses to offer externships in the summer for girls to experience careers and what job sites look like, and consider what they might like for themselves. We have volunteer opportunities for homework help, for program partners to come in and do programming with girls. We have in-kind donations of books, craft supplies, you name it. There is a way. If you want to get involved, we have a volunteer guild that helps put on fundraising and friend-raising events. There is a niche for every person's abilities times talent treasure to fit in with Girls Inc.
Yeah. And so your website is?
www.girlsinkomaha.org.
Okay. All right, Roberta, thank you so much for joining me. Again, November 11th is Lunch for the Girls. You can join live, but you can also live stream. Been to it many times. It's such an amazing event, and such an amazing speaker that you have this year, as you always do. So,
yes.
So anyway, just encourage everybody to go to the website and buy a ticket. So, Roberta,
sounds good.
Thank you so much for joining me today, and it's so great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
Well, hello, my friends. I am here with Dawn Olijnik. She is the development director for the Stevens Center here in Omaha, Nebraska. Dawn, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Kind of entering into the holiday season, which I know gets busy for a lot of nonprofits. I mean, you're busy all year round because you're serving people, 365 days a year. So let's just, you've got a couple things coming up over the holidays, but let's just first talk about the Stevens Center in general. What's your mission? Who do you serve?
Sure. Well, Stevens Center, our mission is to partner with individuals, families, and the community to overcome homelessness, addiction, and poverty. And so we accomplish our mission through three main programs. We have an emergency shelter that serves adults and single adults and families. And so in that program, folks are getting shelter, they're getting food, clothing, hygiene products, and also case management, so that, we're meeting those immediate needs, but we're also helping them return to their own stable housing. Our second program that we have is to help people who are battling mental health and addiction issues. That's our HERO program. And we can serve folks both residentially, they can live on campus, and we also have an non-residential treatment program. Yeah. And then on campus, we also have 61 permanent supportive housing apartments. So those are for folks that were once homeless, who have a disability, who need just some extra support. Maybe they don't know how to cook. They need access to our kitchen for meals. They still need help getting medication, or just remembering to go to appointments and things. And so for those individuals, they can stay here and have access to those support services to help them longer. So,
yeah. I mean, you do so many things for so many. How long has the Stevens Center, when did you guys start? When did you open?
It was started in 1984. So what is that? About 37 years ago, by the McNeil family. Sharon McNeil is a well-known name in Omaha, but it was kind of a series of different events that happened, right? She watched the news at night and saw that homeless people were dying in dumpsters in the cold. She went to McDonald's and saw a family living in their car, and that was it. She saw what was going on around her and decided, I'm going to do something about this. And that's when the Stevens Center was born.
And I'm looking on your website as we're having this conversation. And, when I look at your 2021 impact, the numbers that you have, the nights of lodging, meals served, I mean, over 207,000 meals served this year. And that's going to, increase for sure by the end of the year.
We have a great kitchen staff, a chef here. And so everybody who's on our campus has access to 3 meals a day, and that's breakfast, lunch, and then our dinners are provided by the community. Different groups come in, and a lot of churches and civic groups, they've actually for years been purchasing the food, preparing the food, and then coming in and serving the food once a month. And so it's a great program. We appreciate all of them.
Well, and I know, as we talked about, so with the holidays coming up, I do want to mention one because it's going to end a few days after this airs, but it's called Help Hope Hoodies, and that runs through October 31st. So what are you looking for from the community for that?
Well, as we all know, it's getting chillier.
Yes.
Good example, the weather that we're finally having is like fall, but with that, we need to make sure that the folks that we serve have access to warmer clothing. So right now, our biggest need is actually for sweatpants, leggings, jeans, and we'll take new, or if you're cleaning out your closet, the gently used items can be brought down to us. But really just that fall clothing drive is what we're looking at. And those needs will continue. So we'll take them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know this is kind of your time frame, September 1st through October 31st. But like you just said, you need those all the time. So, and people do they drop them? Is there a certain time that they should drop them off, or tell me a little bit about that?
We have our donation dock is located on the south side of our building at 2723 Q Street in Omaha. There's an alley and signs that will direct you there. It's open Monday through Friday from 10 to 6, and then on the weekends from noon to 4.
Okay. And that's also something a business, can gather their employees together to have a drive.
We love it when businesses, schools, churches, if you want to host a drive and collect those items all at once and then arrange a big drop off. And depending on the size, give us a call and we can come and pick those things up too. So.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Omaha Hunger Experience. Now, was last year the first year you did that, or have you done that before?
Last year was our first drive-through pickup event.
Okay, got yes. I knew there was with COVID-19 and all that. So, So yeah, let's talk about that. What's going on this year? It is Thursday, November 18th. So tell us everything we need to know.
All right. Well, as we were planning this event, we weren't sure where things were going to be with COVID, and we did get a lot of positive feedback having it drive-through style last year. So we've decided that the event will be a take-home event again this year.
Okay.
What we liked about it and the good feedback we got, a lot of times when you go to an event, you see your friends, but you got to get a babysitter, or you're sitting at a table listening to a speaker and you don't get to talk to the folks around you. So what's unique about our hunger experience is you can do it as a family. You can invite neighbors over, and so I think after COVID, it's that opportunity to connect with each other while you're learning about an issue. And so the whole premise of Hunger Experience, which we do in partnership with Saving Grace, is to highlight food insecurity and homelessness.
Right.
And we do that in a kind of a unique way. So $85, it will get you a gourmet take and bake meal for 4, and also a poverty meal. So a sack lunch that has kind of the typical meal that is handed out to the homeless, right? A sandwich, some fruit snacks, a juice box. But along with that, we provide an activity while that meal is heating up to really help folks have a conversation and learn a little bit more about what homelessness here in Omaha. And so it's really self-driven. There's no logins, or I know we are all getting exhausted with Zoom events. So there's no virtual need to log in or anything. You can do it at your own pace. The food will keep in the fridge. If Thursday night doesn't work, you can do it later in the weekend when your family has time. And so it's a lot of fun, and we get a lot of good feedback about it.
Yeah. So like you said, it's in partnership with Saving Grace Perishable Food Rescue.
That's right.
You cut out on the last part of that. So how can people, where do they go to register, sign up?
So there's a link on the Stevens Center website to our registration page. So if you go to stevencenter.org and look under the events section, you can also do stevencenter.org/hunger experience. Will get you directly to that page.
Yeah, and your event page, which I'm actually on right now, actually this, I don't know if this is your homepage, but anyway, you've got a lot of great information, and again, they can find out lots of information about this. So anything else? Do you do
the sign up deadline for the Hunger Experience, because we need to make sure that we have enough food on hand, is November 5th. So we would like people to sign up by then. And then the pickup happens at American National Bank. They are our presenting sponsor this year. And it happens from 3:30 to 6. And it's just a drive through. It's on most people's way home. You can turn in there. We'll bring you the kit. And we also have a special deal. If you bring along a frozen turkey or ham, which we'll use at the Stevens Center, we have aprons that say Omaha Hunger Experience on it. And so we love to give those away as well for a donation of a turkey or ham. Mm-hmm.
Well, absolutely. And then that brings me to the next question, that you've got something called Gobble for Good, November and December, and when you're asking people to donate turkeys or hams, and it's a perfect opportunity to do that when you pick up your food.
Yep. It all dovetails together, because those are protein sources. We can keep them in our freezer here for year round. We use them at the holidays, but they feed people here in our community year round. We also share with other organizations that need them for pantries and things. So it's a great program. That drop-off point on Dodge is easy on that day, but you can also bring them down to our donation dock here at our building on Q Street and drop them off.
So what are some other items? We talked about the warm clothing, the food. What are other items that people can be thinking about? this literally is all year round, but, a lot of times, since we are approaching the holidays, let's talk about other items that your organization needs and the people that you serve need.
Sure. Well, right now, we've come through a year of COVID, and we have seen the end of the eviction moratorium. So we're serving more people than we have in the last year or two. And so one way to, meet that need year round, obviously, is through monetary donations.
Absolutely.
People can give on our website. It gives us the flexibility to meet those needs when they happen. So we'll always we're grateful for those monetary donations when they come in. Hygiene Products is another rotating need, right? That's something that you use every day. Toothpaste, deodorant is a big one. Combs, hairbrushes, toilet paper, just like everybody experienced a shortage. We've seen ours dwindle too. So if you're buying a pack for yourself, feel free to pick up one for Stevens Center, because we can use it too. Socks and underwear, those are items too that aren't, we prefer not to accept them gently used. Those are items that you get new. And so you go through a lot of that. And so always looking for those things. And then as the holidays approach, with Christmas coming, we will be having information on our website soon about our Merry Mart. And we're looking for donations. They'll all be listed on our website, but just different items that the children that stay here might need, and then also the adults. And what we want to do this year is give our parents that are in our apartments or in our shelter the opportunity to pick out the gifts for their kids, that dignity to be able to say, ooh, this is what my child would like. And so it gives them a little more voice and choice in the situation. And then we're also looking for just small gifts that adults would enjoy as well, so that when Christmas morning gets here, everyone has a gift. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's just so important to lift your spirits and also know, that people are thinking of you and the people that you serve. So, well, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
We're just so grateful to be in such a wonderful community. Year after year, we see the community step up in their generosity and how they care for those in need. And we can't do it without everyone here in Omaha and Council Bluffs. And so we're so grateful and look forward to spreading more joy this holiday season.
Yeah. Well, Dawn, thank you so much for joining me today. And folks, at stevenscenter.org, there's so much information on your website about everything we talked about, and then just even more information about who you serve in the programs. And it's just, I always find that interesting to really understand what an organization does and, the impact that you're making in the community. So again, thank you for joining me today.